Is it time to hit the panic button, Leafs Nation? As our beloved Toronto Maple Leafs struggle to find their footing in a tight playoff race, whispers of frustration are growing louder, especially directed at the man behind the bench. What's going wrong with this team, and can a change in approach spark the fire we need? Stick around as we dive deep into the heart of the matter, and make sure to subscribe for all the latest updates on our quest for the Cup. The air in Toronto is thick with anticipation and frustration as the Maple Leafs navigate these turbulent waters. Recently, the team has struggled, going 5-4-1 in their last 10 games, and now sitting in third place in the Atlantic Division. After a golden opportunity to seize the top spot from the Florida Panthers slipped through their fingers, questions have arisen regarding Craig Berub's coaching approach. As a dedicated fan, I can't help but feel this is a pivotal moment for our beloved Leafs. When you hear the fan bases grumbling about Berube, it's hard not to reflect on the deeper issues at play. Tyler Yaremchuk raised a compelling point when he suggested that perhaps it's time to look beyond the coach and scrutinize the core group. After all, teams like Tampa Bay and Pittsburgh have found success with their star players under the same coach. So why the incessant debate about Berube? Is it fair, or are we venting our frustrations on the wrong target? Honestly, I'm torn. Matt. Larkin's insight into Berube's coaching style paints a clear picture. He describes Berube as a coach who favors a more conservative, north-south approach. In theory, simplifying the game sounds appealing, especially for a team that can be prone to mistakes. But here lies the crux of the issue. If we're shifting to a more defensive mindset and the stats don't back it up, what are we really achieving? The Leafs are not performing well defensively, and that's where the frustration starts to boil over. I've always believed that when the Leafs embrace their freewheeling, high-octane style, they thrive. It's almost like they transform into this unstoppable force. But when they tighten up, you can feel the energy drain from the team and the fans alike. This season, we've seen a more conservative approach, and while it might feel safer, it hasn't yielded the defensive results we were promised. So what gives? Are we sacrificing our identity for a style that doesn't even seem to be working as we look ahead to the playoffs? The big question remains. Will this approach translate into success when it matters most? The Leafs have the talent. They have a Stanley Cup-winning coach at the helm. But will it all come together when we need it? These are the moments that keep me awake at night, pondering the fate of our team. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you think this was the best decision for the Leafs? Are we heading down the right path with Berube's coaching style? I genuinely want to know what you think. Is it time for a change, or do we stick it out and trust the process? The playoffs are looming, and every decision counts. As passionate fans, our hopes and dreams ride on the success of this team. The energy in the Air Canada Centre, the roar of the crowd, it all hinges on how well the Leafs perform in the coming weeks. So, I urge you to share your thoughts in the comments below. What are your expectations for the rest of the season? The recent struggles of the Toronto Maple Leafs have left fans feeling uneasy, and it's hard not to feel that familiar knot in our stomachs. We've seen this story before, haven't we? 7 games without a win in regulation is a tough pill to swallow, especially for a team that was just a week ago in the conversation for a division title. Now they're teetering on the edge of wildcard territory, and it's safe to say things have gotten tough for Craig Berube and his squad. What's been at the heart of the Leafs' issues? Frustration has mounted over their inconsistent offense. At one point this season, the Blue Liners weren't producing enough, and now there's a glaring lack of depth scoring. A big concern is Captain Austin Matthews, who has only found the back of the net 3 times in his last 10 games. As fans, we know how crucial he is to this team's success, so seeing him struggle is disheartening. But here's the kicker. The losses aren't happening because of a lack of scoring. In fact, during this 7-game stretch, the Leafs are averaging over 3 goals per game, enough to win most nights in the NHL. The real problem lies on the defensive end, where they are allowing an alarming average of 4.29 goals per game. That simply won't cut it in any playoff race. So, where exactly are these collapses happening? Most recently, the Leafs lost an important divisional matchup against the Ottawa Senators, conceding 4 goals, while goaltender Anthony Stolarz put in a less-than-stellar performance. It was particularly telling to see how they struggled to transition the puck out of their zone and execute plays effectively. Berube pointed out that they lost crucial battles at the blue line, emphasizing the need for urgency and attention to detail, and he's right. This team needs to start winning those battles. The statistics paint a grim picture. The Leafs averaged nearly 10 giveaways in their defensive zone over a recent 10-game stretch, and their total giveaways during that period stood at an alarming 99. In stark contrast, they've managed only 5 takeaways in their game against the Senators. These numbers highlight a lack of defensive discipline that has plagued them lately. Defensively, the team ranks 26th in the league for giveaways in their own zone, which shows how much this team has changed from the playoff favorites they were just weeks ago. Injuries have piled up, and it feels like the chemistry that once propelled this team is slipping away. As for their shot-blocking prowess, the Leafs have fallen from 9th to 11th in the league in terms of blocks over the last 20 games. Chris Tanev's absence has been felt, but it's time for other players to step up. Remember how effectively they blocked shots earlier this season? They need to find that rhythm again. The statistics on high-danger chances allowed are staggering. The Leafs have given up the 11th most high-danger opportunities this season, and that number has skyrocketed to 4th in the league over the last 20 games, with 85 chances given up. In the last 10 games, they're even worse, sitting 3rd in the league for allowing high-danger chances. It's evident that defensive breakdowns are rampant, and it's not just the defenders' fault. The forwards need to do their part too, but more often than not, they're leaving the defense out to dry. And let's not ignore the goaltending situation. Both Stolarz and Joseph Woll have faced heavy workloads, and the results haven't been pretty. Stolarz's numbers reflect a goaltender struggling under the pressure with an .876 save percentage in his last 5 games. Woll isn't far behind, with an .881 save percentage. These numbers are a far cry from what we expect from our goalies, especially in crucial moments. We're witnessing a perfect storm of issues: Matthews' injury, shaky goaltending, and a defense that's lost its way. If this team can't find a way to tighten up defensively, it's going to be a long road ahead as they look to secure a playoff spot. It's not just about scoring, it's about having a solid structure defensively, especially as we head into the stretch run of the season. Matthews himself acknowledged the importance of these games, stating, "We need to understand that all these games, especially against some of the teams we're facing, will feel like playoff games. If they can't win these crucial matchups now, what makes us think they'll be able to perform when the stakes are even higher in the playoffs?" So, where do we go from here? As a passionate fan, I have to ask, do you think this is the right path for the Leafs? Honestly, I'm torn. I want to believe they can turn things around, but the consistency has been lacking. And you, what do you think? I want to hear your opinions down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay updated on all things Toronto Maple Leafs. And remember to activate the notification bell to get all the latest updates. Let's keep the conversation going, because this team